morning. Well, it's a lovely bright morning at the end of August, which means that this must be the summer update of the New Forest video diary, showing some of the things that have gone on in the forest over the past couple of months. Well, the main talking point, of course, has been the weather. Last year it never seemed to stop raining. This year, apart from a few showers and a couple of thunderstorms, we've had hardly any rain since February. Of course, too much rain and not enough rain affects things in the forest in different ways, as you will see in the video. So let's go and see what happened. The hot weather at the beginning of July continued with the odd shower and a couple of nights of heavier rain. Apart from that, the sun shone almost every day during July and most of August. By July, most birds have finished breeding, although some will still be looking after their young. The wood pigeon is one of a number of British birds that have more than one brood. Blackbirds, thrushes, robins and others also have multiple broods. Wood pigeons can breed throughout the summer and into autumn. They're monogamous too, and will usually stay with their mate as long as they both live. Some people have been asking what happens to the new Forest Pony Foals when they're sold. Commoner Sally Jolly kindly answers that question for us.
Now, a question I get asked a lot is, why do you separate mares and foals? You know, what happens to these foals? And usually if that question's asked on a public forum, then, you know, a load of do-gooders jump on. They're like, oh, they'll go for meat to France. It's awful. Boo, you bad, horrible commoners. That's simply just not true. You know, we really covet our foals, be they colt or fillies. It takes a lot to breed a foal these days. As you can see, this little chap is the only foal in this group because we've not had a stallion in this area. I've got mares that haven't had a foal for 13 years. You know, they've just had their first foals now, which is really hard if you're trying to breed fillies, quality fillies to bring on to keep the bloodlines going, to keep the commoning going. It's really disappointing if you don't get a foal sort of most years, because we really do covet them. And these ponies are now on the at-risk register. If you don't believe me, you can look that up on the Rare Breed Survival Trust website. But they are an at-risk breed now. That is why we are so careful with the breeding and the selection of mares, and we absolutely covet these ponies. They are just so renowned worldwide for riding ponies, driving ponies, jumping ponies, all-rounders. You know, they'll take a child, they'll take an adult. Their temperament is amazing. They're so sure-footed and they can really jump. So, you know, please don't listen to when they go off, you know, people on there going, oh, they all go for meat, it's awful. It's just simply not true. We've had foals at Beauty Road sales now making £1,000. I mean, years ago, yes, they probably would have made 1 or 2 guineas, £5. But those days have gone. We've really improved the breed, and a lot of work has gone in by a lot of very good people to really promote these wonderful ponies. You know, unfortunately, foals can't stay with their mothers. There's just not the space and there's not the food through the winter. It just becomes a huge welfare issue for, you know, a mare to be dragged down by a foal, trying to keep a foal and herself fed through the winter. It's just not fair. So they are separated at the drift. They go off to the commoners' holdings or to their new owners, or they go to the sales. And as I said, they've been making incredible prices at the sales, and I really hope that continues because they deserve to be valued. You know, I think the absolute world of them, and anybody that's got one, I'm sure, doesn't need any convincing.
In mid-July, the heather starts to flower and the open forest areas turn purple. Some people love it, others think it's a sign of autumn round the corner. People who do like the heather flowering are the beekeepers. Some of them put their hives out on the forest for the bees to collect the pollen to make the renowned New Forest heather honey. Yum yum. The New Forest is one of the most important places in the UK for bees. Approximately 69% of the UK's 270 species occur here. When we think of bees, we tend to think of honeybees who live in hives, or bumblebees. In fact, solitary bees actually account for about 240 of those 270 bee species. One species of these solitary bees is the heather collet. These are mining bees. They're known for nesting individually in sandy soil. They usually nest close together in large numbers, creating impressive nesting aggregations. At this time of year, the heather collettes emerge. Like many bees, the female's eggs are deeper in the nest to help protect them from predation. Males emerge first. Hundreds of males waiting for the emerging females resulting in frenzied mating balls. Here we see the action in slow motion. This video was filmed by Steve Laycock, who's kindly shared it with us. In mid-July, Southern Water imposed a hosepipe ban. The local water leak still flowed in the forest though. At least it watered the grass for the ponies. Is it a water leak, or is it a new spring? I'll let you know if I ever find out. At the end of July we had the New Forest Show, which is a 3-day event. Perfect sunny weather for it, and thousands of people enjoyed the various events, competitions, displays, hospitality and stalls of all kinds. Thanks to the New Forest Show team for supplying some of these great images. It was perfect weather until the afternoon of the 3rd day, when the skies darkened and we had the first heavy rain for several weeks. July went out with a bang. The hot sunny weather continued in August. Comparisons with the long hot summer of 1976 became more frequent. The ground was very dry. This is Bolton's Bench near Lyndhurst. Last year was a terrible year for butterflies, mainly because it was so wet. This year we've seen a dramatic recovery. The warm weather encouraged the butterflies to emerge earlier than usual, and numbers are well up on last year. As our climate warms, we're seeing more butterflies and moths from the continent. One of these is the fabulous Hummingbird hawk moth. These are starting to overwinter in southern England, including in the New Forest. Kathryn Crouch took these pictures in her garden. Soon afterwards, I was amazed to see one on the phlox flowers in our garden. That was a real surprise, which I hastily filmed on my iPhone camera. We tend to think of fungi as only appearing in the autumn. Some fungi appear in the summer, and this year a surprising number of fungi were seen in the forest, even though the ground was so dry. This is a beefsteak fungus, and this is chicken of the woods. This one was discovered by Pip the dog. This is the rutting season for the roe deer. These are mainly solitary deer, and a buck may mate with multiple does, and a doe may mate with multiple bucks. The rutting season for the red and fallow deers is later in the year, and their new antlers are still covered in velvet. These lovely pictures of fallow bucks in velvet were taken by Annette Gregory. I came across these two fallow deer one day. I thought it was a buck and a doe. When I looked more closely though, I realised that they were both bucks. This one is in his 2nd year and growing his first pair of antlers. He's called a pricket. Most of the smaller streams in the forest dried up. Water levels in some of the ponds in the forest were very low too, due to the lack of rain. This is Jane's Moor. And this is Cadman's Pool. Crop yields for farmers this year will be low due to the lack of rain. But let's look on the bright side. It was a great summer to spend time at the beach. During the last week of August, the heatwave ended and we had some very welcome rain. The next update of the New Forest video diary will be at the end of October, when we're bound to see some of these, and some of these, and we might even see some water flowing in the stream. Please share this video with friends who might be interested, and consider subscribing to our channel on YouTube to see more videos about living in the New Forest. As always, thanks very much for watching.